Being the number one overall pick in any sports always comes with big expectations and hopes. The fans, the team, the media, and anyone related to the organization are hoping that this player will turn around their favorite franchise and allow them to compete for titles in the near future. In the NBA, players like LeBron, Duncan, Dwight, Shaq, and others have accomplished this, while others have completely flopped. The best examples for this case are Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons, Anthony Bennett, and Greg Oden in recent years. So in today's video, we will look at a former number one overall pick who had quite the different career but still turned out to be a very impactful player. This former number one overall pick was a consensus All-American before coming to Kansas to play with another star. Coming out of Canada, Andrew Wiggins had earned the nickname Maple Jordan at a young age, showing the expectations people had from him, and the potential people saw in him. In college, he showed that he had the potential to become a star in this league. He had great size and athleticism for a wing player, with great finishing abilities, although the biggest concerns for his game were his weight, the shooting ability, and his dribbling, but scouts believed that he had the raw potential to develop those skills and be great at the next level. Scouts loved the fact that his skill set and where he was currently was a player that could come out of the draft and contribute right away to any team he was drafted to, despite also having tremendous potential to develop into an even bigger star. At the end of his college career, he was considered by some as the best prospect since Kevin Durant came out of Texas in 2007. And this says a lot about how Wiggins was seen, because between those two guys being drafted, players such as AD, who was coming out of an NCAA championship, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, and almost every Best Player of the Year accolades was drafted. Meanwhile, Wiggs only had a Big 12 Rookie of the Year to his resume in college. He was originally drafted first overall by the Cleveland Cavaliers before being traded to the Timberwolves in exchange for Kevin Love. So this meant that Andrew Wiggins would have his own team and have the time to develop in a different timeline as if he had stayed in a championship-ready Cleveland Cavaliers. Sadly, he never blossomed into the superstar people in Minnesota wanted. He was asked to do a lot of what scouts saw as flaws coming out of Kansas because the team was so bad, meaning he had to shoot the ball at a very high rate, handle the ball way more in the half-court than he should have. So during his career as a Wolf, he attempted 13 two-pointers per night on 48.3% shooting and 3.5 three-pointers on 33.2% for an effective field goal percentage of only 47.6%. And the issue with his shooting numbers were that he was not necessarily as bad of a shooter as his numbers were showing, but rather that he had a tendency to take very questionable shots due to him maybe lacking the IQ as a younger player and also being sort of the sole shot creator on that team. And at some point, fans and media started to question if the selection of Wiggins at 1 was the one the organization should have made. And after he signed a big extension and he was still playing poorly in the 2017 or 2018 season, people started to consider him as one of the worst contracts in the league. In the 2019-2020 season, Wiggins was traded to the Golden State Warriors in exchange of D'Angelo Russell. The expectations for him were different at that point. People weren't as excited as when he first came into the league. The hopes of him turning into a superstar were quite low, but fans hoped that he could be a solid addition to the Warriors championship roster, which ultimately he did become. And by joining such an organization, Wiggins developed into a reliable second or third option on that team that could affect the game on both sides of the ball and with or without the basketball in his hands. We saw a big evolution in his offensive game, mainly due to a change in his shot selection. So far in Golden State, he has taken about 9 two-pointers a night on 52.2%, which is a 4% increase on a smaller number of attempts than in Minnesota, and 5.4 threes on 38.6%, which is a 5% increase in efficiency on higher volume. Earlier, we saw that his effective field goal percentage in Minnesota was a 47.6, which wasn't necessarily great, but as a Warrior, it has jumped all the way to 54.4%. By not being the focal point of the offense, his shooting percentage from every spot on the floor are up, and he is also shooting more shots assisted than before, which might be a correlation to what type of player he should have become out of Kansas. Some may want to make the argument that it was only because of the system and the player around him, because we have seen players have their best years with this team. Some example could be Harrison Barnes, who played his best basketball with the Warriors, but ever since he left the team after signing a big contract, his play hasn't lived up to what it used to. But the difference in this situation, in my opinion, is that we have seen a change in Wiggins' behavior. He was willing to stop shooting the deep mid-range shots he used to take and the contested fadeaways to develop and adapt his game to win more games and impact the team positively. He also became a more involved defender, as he has become one of the best wing defender in the league after being known as a very below average and even considered bad defender. In my opinion, he has been the second most important and impactful player for the Golden State Warriors after none other than Steph Curry for the past 2 seasons, and we have seen how the Warriors missed him when he was away from the team recently this season. While doing the research for this video, I came across a Bleacher Report redraft analysis of
Gibson fighting
Wiggins,
for it. Towns
and they
comes
were
down with
wondering
it.
if
Can't
he
get
would
it to
probably
go.
end up
Andrew
closer to
Wiggins
a
just
Scottie
leaped out of
Pippen
the gym.
player rather than Michael Jordan. They used Michael Jordan as the example mainly because of the nickname people had given him of Maple Jordan. And after looking at his stints with both teams, we can safely say that despite not having fully lived up to the hype he had, he still turned out into a very good player that was detrimental to a championship team. And that was because of how his play wasn't anything resembling Michael Jordan, but rather a Scottie Pippen type of player who could defend / shoot when needed, but wasn't necessarily needing of the ball and was mainly known as a secondary option on that team. I hope you enjoyed the video today. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments down below and don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And that being said, have a great one.